And I'm back. Hi, folks. This is your old pal, Uncle Al. Now, I got a lot of emails and questions about apartment survival and getting out my notes. I did past videos on this. You have to remember, apartments is only a temporary lodging. It's not a permanent one. And people tend to forget this until something bad happens. I mean, really bad happens. Okay, that's the one we want. Okay. And this is the first of apartment series, Apartment Survival. Everybody's been doing on their own. They did a fine job. Uncle Alan's been doing this for years, and I know all the dirty tricks. All right? You could do your own research, and you find out, wow, that's what Uncle Alan said for the last 40 years. Okay, first thing is 10 things apartment preppers should have. Okay, you're an apartment prepper and you should have these 10 things. All right, number one thing we're going to cover is flashlights, headlamps, and lanterns. I'm going to do a separate one on that, another video. And you want extra batteries, so you should have a flashlight, a good one. All right, now the trouble with expensive ones, they use a special type of battery or they use a UBS charger. Only problem is you need that battery or that charging system. It's a little hard after SHTF, and the only things they have is double A's and triple A's, and you're kind of, but I have solar cells. It doesn't work at night. Okay? And remember, when you use lights, it's temporary. And we'll go into lights later on in a separate video for long-lasting lights. And I'll show you all the tricks I know on that. Okay? Flashlights, headlamps, and lanterns. Flashlights on the spot where you see it. Let's see if I have a little one. Like that. You look around and then you shut it off. Don't waste your power on these. Think about it. Okay? Now a lot of people say, I have a flashlight on my phone. Every time you use that light on the phone, your power decreases on the phone by 10%. So you can't use that flashlight on the phone for a long time and doesn't cover a very large distance. It's a broad beam light. Okay? So we covered that. Headlamp. Headlamps are great. You put it on your head, takes AAA batteries, very lightweight. You can look around. You want the ones that has a regular light and a red light. The red light saves your eyes during nighttime, and it's a little hard to see at night. Okay? A lantern. We all seen my lanterns. You can still pick those up. You can get any kind of lantern you want. It's all up to you. It's fairly inexpensive. But when you use battery power on the lantern, they have a limited lifespan. More you use it, shorter the battery life goes. So you want bright lights in a short period of time, let's say an hour or a half hour, that's fine. But we're going to talk about long burning lights later on. Okay? And that covers number one. You need some form of light. Okay? Number two, a good first aid kit. And I have to always tell people, not an ouchie boo-boo kit. Now, a lot of racketeers and a lot of companies sells you a first aid kit is ouchie boo-boo. Doc Bones and Nurse Amy sells a complete kit. And I like it. It's a very good kit. They're up to date and they have books and videos talking about this thing. A good first aid kit. All right? And you should take some courses, and we're going to go all over this, courses on the subject. All right? You should take care of simple things because remember, folks, once we out of gas, EMT or fire or emergency medical rescue is not going to come for maybe a day or two or a month, a week. It'll be like the old days. We'll get there when the horse and buggy gets there. Okay, so you got to know first aid and simple treatments. Okay, We've been too spoiled on 911, and a lot of people argue me. I disagree with you. Okay, you spend $10,000 on a helicopter picking your butt up and transporting here. Because I keep telling people, our hospital has a helicopter pad, and I talked to the helicopter pilot. For California, it costs you anywhere from $10,000 to $12,000 to transport within a 50-mile radius. Okay, that's medical transport, not distant transport. Okay, because any further than that, usually the patient, well, just throw him out of the helicopter. He's dead. Okay, so you want within the first 50 miles. A lot of people don't understand that. Number 3, you want to store water. Because a lot of apartment preppers and urban preppers can't tell the difference from good water to bad water. I had a couple of people on my walks ask me, is it safe to drink out of that pond over there, Uncle Al? And I'm telling them, see that homeless person taking a whiz into the pond? I don't think so. And then they see something else coming out of the person that they didn't want to see, and the guy drank out of that water and also washed his crack. And I told him, you're going to filter that water and drink it? Good. Brown, chunky water coming out of your water filter. No. Okay? Number 4, you should have some means of making fire. Could be flint and steel, could be a ferro rod. I'm old school. I like a Zippo. Zippo, Bic lighters, bow drill, whatever your fire means, know how to do it and know how to do it professionally. I tell a lot of people, build a fire. And if you want to see something funny, go check out Wide Family Farms, where they light a bonfire with a flamethrower. Yeah, we'll get that campfire going. That was funny. Okay? You should have striked it with just a flick of a Zippo. Okay? That small a flame. Or strike a match. Or a piece of flint and steel. Something simple, folks. You don't need a flamethrower to make fire. On the other hand, Uncle Alan gets drastic when it's cold and wet, and I'll use a road flare. At 3,000 degrees, that'll catch anything on fire. But know how to make a fire. Okay, and we're going to talk about building fires and how to do that. And do not build fires inside apartment buildings. Do not use charcoal in apartment buildings. I've seen too many people, we'll keep warm. We'll put in the charcoal heater inside the house and keep nice and warm. Yeah, and they die from CO1 and CO2 poisoning, carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, and a few other nasty gases. Okay? After making fire, you have to have some means of water purification. Water purification is 2 stages. Finding good water that you can purify and the system that you use to purify the water. Now this is Uncle Alan's version of this. I find the water, I filter it first with coffee filters. Very simple thing. That takes out the big God knows what. Second step, chemical treatment. Third step, after it's been sitting there for a couple of hours and all the chlorine dissipates out of the water, I run it through a first need water filter. Why does Uncle Alan take 3 stages? Because Uncle Alan doesn't take any bloody chances. Step 1, get all the big solid matters. Like, gee, that's a big piece of cow poo in there. Yeah. Get out that. Step 2, kill anything that is parasitic. That's where the chemical treatment comes in. Step 3 goes through my filter system, which is first need. First need fits everything, works great camping, hiking, and stuff. Now, a lot of people says I don't need to do step 1 or step 2. Uncle Alan drank a lot of brown and green water over the years. I learned from my mistakes. So I do number 1, coffee filter and filter out solid material. Number 2, kill anything that's in there. And number 3, the filter. And the final test, drop a goldfish in it. And usually they're swimming around alive. Okay? And also, know your water source. I keep telling people, so you're really going to drink out of the septic tank. Okay? Number 6, I have a whole video on that. That's food. We're going to talk about apartment prepper should have, and you should have food. Okay? Number 7, you should have a good emergency radio. You should have NOLA on it. That's National Atmospheric Weather Reports. Okay, for tornadoes, hurricanes, and stuff. It should be self-charging. It should have a strip on top. Should have a light. Should have a little crank on it. Should have a USB port on it. But the main thing is it takes AM and FM and weather report. Those 3 stations you want. Okay, and also check if it has a lifetime battery on it and a reserve battery of so many AAAs. Those are great. They work fine. I tested one. I gave one away. I gotta remember who to, but I'm sending off another one if I can remember who I promised to, because Uncle Alan had a couple strokes, so I forget. Okay, and we're going to do a whole video on that one. Number 8. If you can't, try to find a Mr. Buddy and use propane. Now, propane's right now is in short demand because the screw up by Captain Crazy and crew. We have shut down all American production of propane. This affects Canada too. So get your propane if you want to keep warm in the winter with the Mr. Buddy system. Secondly, I'd be thinking about, instead of barbecuing, go think about getting propane, the 5-gallon containers, to run your heater. Okay, common sense. It's the easiest of the bunch. Uncle Alan is hard. I either use wood or kerosene, but that takes skill. And number 8 on propane. Propane could be used for cooking, for heating your home, for making hot water, numerous things, even for lighting. Okay, so think about number 8, propane, and we'll do a whole video on that later. And then we have number 9. This is important. We're going to do a whole video on that. You want some kind of fixed outdoor blade. It doesn't need to be a Rambo knife. It has to form as a cutting tool and does certain function. Will it work in the kitchen? Will it work as a bushcrafting knife? Will it work as a self-defense weapon? Has to fit in those 3 functions. Okay? And we don't want a Rambo knife. We want a knife that's two-purpose. To cut, to butcher, to slice. Okay? 3 functions. To cut, to butcher, and slice. Okay? And number 10, battery-powered bank. It's not a solar generator. It's a battery-powered bank. That's number 10. Okay? I always push EcoFlow. EcoFlow is great. You can stack a whole bunch of them. When the power's out, what 2 things you want to power in the house? And it's not the air conditioner. It's not smaller appliance like a fan. Okay? It's for the freezer and refrigerator. You want to test out your battery bank. If it produces enough power, okay, check the wattage rating to supply your freezer and your refrigerator. That's number 10. Battery power bank, not solar generator. That's a marketing ploy. It's a lie, too. If I leave it out in the sun, I don't think it's generating power, but it has this little tiny strip on it. And I look at them, you need something like 4 feet by 12 feet to power that thing, to recharge it. And they look at me like I stepped on a dead cat. And when I hear people, well, that generates 200 watts of power. Let's test it. Get a voltmeter out there. It's reading 13.5 volts. From 1 panel or 2? Just 1 panel, Uncle Al. And I'm telling him that's not even a watt. You need about 4 of those puppies on top of your RV. Go see Redneck Things with Tony and Leanne. They have a big solar panel. And they got hoodwinked because they went on Wish or Etsy and got some panels, and they said it's rated for 200 watts. It wasn't. Those panels didn't even produce enough wattage, all 4 of them, and just a waste of money. So know your wattage on your panels, okay, before you hook it up and waste all that money. So like I said, battery power bank in conjunction with solar power or a gas generator. And if you watch the Biggs preps, a lot of people in Florida don't care, and when panic sets in, they'll steal your generator. That's why I have mine on a trailer, and it's locked to a cement block into the ground. And I have my M1 rifle nearby. So if you think of stealing that trailer and cutting the heavy-duty chain, it's going to take you a while, even with a grinder. Because I tested it with heavy-duty bolt cutters. It'll take you a while. And it's like, here's Uncle Alan. What's that cracking sound? Just be quiet, get the backhoe out. And look, I got new guns for you kids. Okay? Uncle Alan's not a nice guy. You don't touch his generator. You don't screw around with his cows. You don't touch my grandkids or my grandnieces. I mean, grandnephews and grandnieces. Uncle Alan's not married, and I don't have any kids. But little dogs and small animals and kids are I have a soft spot. Okay? Number 11, self-defense. Now, a lot of people don't want to do this. So I tell a lot of people, easiest thing you want to do is get some kind of non-lethal chemical weapon. Do not get wasp spray. Okay? If you spray the wrong person, and if it's not a threat, they could charge you with, in California, with indiscriminate use of pesticide as a deadly weapon. It's in the books. Go check your penal codes, and you could get anywhere from 2 to 5 to 7 years for that. And if it was an accident, you're looking at 10. So do get a license and get trained on toxic gases. It could be tear gas, mace, pepper spray, and know what to do. Another thing is, you can't use that in an apartment building. If you spray somebody with pepper spray, one of the fire extinguishers, that chemical disperses inside the whole building because it has an enclosed air system. So you just, instead of gassing one person, you gas the whole building, including yourself. Okay, so know what you're doing on self-defense weapons. I always tell people, baseball bat, a long wooden staff taller than your head, about 2 feet. That way you could either push them away or you whack them away or jab with it. I prefer pushing them away and jabbing with it. You could attach something to the end to make it more effective, and that'll work. Okay, and those are the 10. I added a bonus, self-defense weapons. 10 things that you need for your house, and it'll be in the bottom description. Okay, folks, I'll catch you later. You have a nice... Wait, what day is this? I've been taking too many meds. It's the 12th. Oh, gosh. It's Sunday. Boy, I lost 2 days. That's what happens when you take a lot of medication. You lose track of time. And I'll be back soon with another video. I hope you enjoy this. This is the series on apartment survival. And I'll catch you later. Bye, folks.